What's going on, my friends? Welcome to episode 7 of the Get Your Game On podcast, bringing you the hot takes, latest stories, and spicy picks surrounding New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, national, and international sports. Hosted by yours truly, Adam Grassani, joined as always by Michael Cunningham, Alex Reich, David Eller, and Chris Kern. You can listen to the podcast right now on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at GetYourGameOnP. And with all that said, it's time to get your game on.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
All right,
Let's get it.
let's get it.
Yeah, sure.
How's everyone doing?
Doing
Good.
well.
Good.
I'm my best.
I'm doing great. Little personal stuff. My mother today got her second dose of the COVID vaccine.
Good
That's
stuff.
what's up. That's my.
good.
Yeah, she got, I believe, Pfizer. She got her first dose about 3 weeks ago. She got her second dose today. I mean, she's doing all right. Having some he's having some side effects, body aches, headaches, all the usual stuff, but nothing major.
Yo, shout out to Adam's
Glad to
mom
hear
for
it.
staying safe in the game.
Shout out to June Joy Grassani.
Shout out to all the people staying in the struggle.
Yeah, definitely. It's been like a rough year now, but we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I could definitely feel it. I definitely feel it. Also, a little personal side, I got a brand new baseball bat the other day.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
Let's go,
because I was at the batting cage like earlier in the month, and I was swinging, and my old one broke, so I had to buy a new one. I used part of my stimulus money on it.
Get that
Nice.
still. Shout out to that stimulus check. But enough about stimulus. Let's get to our topic.
All right.
Big baby.
All right.
We're playing basketball.
Yeah.
We're talking about that.
All right. So you
Basketball.
heard from Michael. We're doing a big basketball show today. We got a lot of stuff to do on March Madness. We're definitely gonna get to a lot of March Madness because Chris as was out last time we did March Madness. So I definitely want to talk some March Madness to get his take on a bunch of stuff. But we're gonna start off with the NBA and the NBA trade deadline and buyout. The trade deadline passed and the buyout market has been heating up. And obviously, like the big news that everyone is talking about is the Nets signing LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, I swear the Nets have the best moves, man. I swear.
I honestly, like, when I first saw the move, I was like a little. I was obviously hyped, but my only question was. The only concern I had with the Nets signing LaMarcus Aldridge is how much minutes would he play and who would he take minutes from? Because as a Nets fan, like if he took minutes away from someone like DeAndre Jordan, I've been fine with that. I mean, DeAndre Jordan's like okay, but at this point, his career is just like a backup like type center in the NBA. Like at this point, his career is more of like a backup type of center. But on the other hand, you look at a guy like Nicholas Claxton, who I've said before, I am absolutely in love with. He's been balling for the Nets recently. Like, if signing LaMarcus Aldridge would take away minutes of Claxton, like I would have had a little bit of a problem with that because obviously LaMarcus Aldridge is definitely like he's on the tail end of his career, but he's still like a really good center in the NBA. But if it meant taking away minutes from Claxton, I would have had a little bit of a problem. But we did hear from Asia Wojciechowski that with the sign of LaMarcus Aldridge, he would mostly take minutes away from DeAndre Jordan, that Claxton would still play like a big part in the Nets rotation. So hearing that gets me so hyped for this. I got a lot more to say, but I want to hand the floor over to you guys for now.
Honestly, I gotta say, in my opinion, how the Nets are going to have a great system. They're going to be the team to make it out of the East, Adam and boys, because.
I definitely think they're favorites.
Yeah, they're the odds-on favorite. Now, honestly, if you would have asked me 2 months ago, when they just had KD and Kyrie, they would have made it out the East. 100% they would. Then you add James Harden into the mix. I was like, they have a shot. They have a shot to make it out the East. Then you get Blake Griffin. You may win a couple games in the NBA Finals. Now you get LaMarcus Aldridge. Here's the thing: you have two great power forwards on your team. Who's going to start and who's going to come off the bench between LaMarcus Aldridge or Blake Griffin? Because in their
LaMarcus
career,
Aldridge is like a center, though, I believe.
he's a power forward. Power forward.
He was
always,
a power forward early in his career, but recently he's been playing a lot of center. But he can play either the 4 or the 5. At least
he's
in my
more like
opinion.
a 4 or 5. But honestly, how would you do it? Would you go small, go Blake at the 4, Aldridge at the 5?
I think that's the way the Nets are gonna do because
Or
Steve Nash, like the Nets, like they love small ball. They love running like a small ball offense. Like you rarely see them ever go big. So I definitely think like it'll probably like the starting lineup will probably be like Kyrie, Harden, KD, probably Blake Griffin, and either one of Nicholas Claxton or LaMarcus Aldridge. Here's how I think like the Nets system's gonna work, and this is one of the reasons why I love like Steve Nash's coaching philosophy is I think the Nets like rotations are gonna be mostly like Katie, Harden, and Kyrie. They're gonna be like the primary starters. They're gonna be like the 3 stars, and then everyone else is just gonna rotate in. Like you'll see a lot of Joe Harris rotating in, like one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA. You'll see a lot of Bruce Brown like rotating, who does like all like the little things, does all the dirty work. You'll see a lot of Jeff Green, like with the shooting he can provide and the defense he can provide at the 4. You'll see a lot of Blake Griffin. He played excellent in the game the other day, and obviously Nicholas Claxton, like he's definitely like he reminds me a lot of Jared Allen with the way he like with his interior defense and rebounding. Like he's definitely been a big time center. And you rotate LaMarcus Aldridge, DeAndre Jordan, all these guys like Landry Shamet, Tyler Johnson, and even a little bit of DeAndre Jordan. With the way the Nets like can rotate all their pieces in. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but as a Nets fan, it's just so much. It's just so much fun to watch, and it's just. I could not be happier as a Nets fan right now.
Yo, Big Chris,
really.
what do you got to say about that, man?
So,
About all these Nets
a
signings?
lot of thoughts on this. Personally, I don't. If Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge are both starting, I think that would be a massive mistake for the Nets. First off, I think Joe Harris has to be in that starting lineup. But I don't think LaMarcus Aldridge makes them that much better because I'll explain. Because when he's on the floor, he'll make the bench better. If he's playing, another bench score will be big for them. But defensively, he'll be a liability for them. And they still have a little bit of a rim protector issue, I think, despite signing Griffin and Aldridge. But Aldridge is like, he's still a really good player. I'm not trying to say he's not. I just don't know if he really changes things a ton for them. And offensively, I mean, because offensively, that's what his game is now in his sporting career. And if he's going to have the ball in his hands, you're taking him away from Kyrie, Harden, and Durant. And you would much rather have them with the ball, or have Joe Harris.
I would much rather have like those 3 with the ball and have Claxton be the one who starts at the 5 mostly. You guys, I do agree with you, Chris. Like if Katie, Kyrie, and like if LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin were the primary stars, a lot of them, if they were taking most of the minutes, then yeah, I would have a problem with that. But here's the thing, though. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think like you're going to see like I said before, you're going to see Kyrie, Harden, and KD getting most of the minutes, and everyone else will get like a slimmer amount of minutes. I don't think like you'll see Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge getting like more minutes than guys like Joe Harris and Claxton.
I think Joe Harris should be playing 35 minutes a game in the playoffs. If he's losing his minutes,
I don't know about
Aldridge and Griffin, I think that's a massive.
I don't know about 30 minutes, but
they need his spot up. They need his spot up shooting massively. In a
we got Alex. You got something to say there, boy?
So as a Sixers fan, it's going to be very interesting to see them possibly play them in the playoffs against a Joel Embiid healthy and Sixers team. And I've had the LaMarcus Aldridge on my fantasy basketball team, and he's been mid-range of good. He hasn't been very solid as a good like a good shot making type player. even though he's a big and he can get in the post and just thrive in transition, but it's hard to say that he's gonna dominate for the Nets, even though they have.
Here's what I'll say to that, Alex, and David will get to you in a minute, but I wanted to touch up quickly on what you said about the 76ers like matchup with the Nets. You heard me say this before. If there's one team like in the East that scares me as a Nets fan, it's the 76ers. With, like I said before, with the way with how well like Joel Embiid is playing, like they have the ability to exploit like the Nets like lack of like rim protection. But here's the thing though, like here's something different about the Nets right now than the Nets like a couple months ago. A couple months ago, the only rim protector the Nets had was DeAndre Jordan. Of the three rim protectors right now, like number one, the Nets have a lot more depth, at like the center spot. That they got three like legitimate bigs like on their team. And number two, of the three, I want to see if you guys agree or disagree with this. Of the three like bigs of the Nets have Nicholas Claxton, LaMarcus Aldridge, and DeAndre Jordan. I think DeAndre's, who was the one that was there initially, is the worst one out of the three, in my opinion. At least at this point in their career.
You think defensively on Embiid, or are you just talking like as the player?
Overall, as a player,
I think DeAndre Jordan's a great defender. Like in his career, he led the league.
I don't know about that. Great defender. Back in his prime, he was like one of the best centers in the NBA. But right now,
he's not.
I think he's still a good defender. I think every player.
He's good, but he's not great. He's good, but he's not great.
If I were you as a Nets in the offseason, get a center that could have great protection or play through the draft. Like most teams do.
Like here's the thing though, they have three legitimate options at the center now, which a couple months ago was their biggest weakness. Now they have three legitimate like options at the center position, which obviously you still like worry going up against guys like the best of the best, as like the guys like Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, you still worry about that, but the Nets still like with the depth they had, now that you have like so many pieces like with this team, you feel a lot better about going up against those bigs than you did like when it was just DeAndre Jordan. David, you have something to say?
About the Nets. One thing about the Nets. That's one of my questions. So, and many comments. So, going back, like Alex said, like I'm a Sixers fan, but I remember the Nets, probably like New York Nets or New Jersey Nets. They remember Sixers and them going at it every year. But I think the last time they were good since probably like New Jersey or New York where they used to be. But it could be interesting. But I would say though, like Mike said, they could make it out of the East. It would be interesting to see them go far.
I definitely think they're the favorites overall. So make it
I don't want what my man DH just said. Yeah. I believe on my heart it's going to be a rematch of the 2001 NBA Finals and the 2002 NBA Finals. It's going to be a rematch of one of those two with the Lakers.
Look back on those highlights.
Wait,
if the Lakers get healthy. And
the Nets and Lakers only made it to the NBA, only played the NBA Finals once.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Sixers. They were in the 01 NBA Finals with Sixers versus Lakers, and 02 versus Nets versus Lakers.
Okay. I hear what you're saying now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm saying, even I'm a Laker and Knicks fan. I think the Knicks had a great run this year. Had a great turnaround.
Can I get something off my chest?
Go ahead.
I think it's time for me to get something off my chest, yo. Obviously, it's just the narrative surrounding the Nets. Like, oh my God, it's so unfair the Nets are doing. You're Steve have to say, like, oh my God, the Nets, like, they don't care about competition. Oh, what the Nets are doing. Like, Nets fans, like, how can you enjoy this? Shut up! Shut the up! You guys have no idea what I've been through as a fan of this team. You guys have no idea of what the Nets have done to get where they are today. I want to bring up this brilliant tweet by Ben Sterner on Twitter right here, at Ben Sterner. He is a reporter for the NBA. I'm going to read this tweet word for word. The 2016 Brooklyn Nets went 21-61 and did not control their own first-round picks and had to watch as the Celtics drafted Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum with their draft capital. I promise you, if there's one team that has earned this, it's the Brooklyn Nets. People are acting like, oh, the Nets, like, oh, they're cheating. They're like, what they're doing is like not unfair. They're not building it the right way. They literally did the definition of building it the right way. When Sean Marks first came to this team, they were a dumpster fire. They were a mess after Billy King completely destroyed the franchise. Then Sean Marks came in and he built it from the ground up without control of one of his first round draft picks until 2019 when they first made the playoffs. Sean Marks has done such a phenomenal job building up this roster. People act like, oh, the Nets that this super team was just handed to them. No, it wasn't. They built this super team fair and square. And for all the fans who are hating on the Nets right now, that are hating on the Nets and saying all this stuff oh, Nets fans, you shouldn't enjoy it, your team is cheating. I am gonna just tell you guys out there, after all the suffering I've endured, being a fan of this team and to see what they've become, I am going to enjoy every single minute possible of watching this team, and I'm going to relish in it. So suck on that.
No,
Can I say something about that?
Go ahead, David.
So when I was saying what Adam said, I mean, Adam, your mind is exploding right now.
I'm just
Can't believe
honestly, I get it though. Here's the thing. If you're against super teams in the NBA, that's a completely different conversation for another time. I can completely understand you being against super teams. But it's just this notion of, oh, the Nets, if a team or organization has an opportunity to build a super team, they shouldn't do it to preserve competition. Especially for a team like the Nets, for a team that like I said before, what Sean Marks had to go through, how hard he's worked to build this franchise up. No one should have the right to tell Sean Marks that he shouldn't, make this team the best he could possibly be. And I'd be lying if I said that type of talk didn't get on my nerves. I'd be lying.
All right. You know it.
All right.
We're
not there yet, because we gotta move on to another big buyout signing. Is the Lakers recently signed Andre Drummond. So when the Nets signed LaMarcus Aldridge, the Lakers responded right back by signing Andre Drummond. So Michael, you're the big Lakers fan here. I'm gonna give you the floor. What are your thoughts on the Lakers signing LaMarcus Aldridge?
I think I said this on our show, Adam and Chris and Alex and David. I said it. Andre Drummond's either gonna go to New York or the Lakers. Didn't I call it?
I think you did.
about the Warriors wasn't an option.
I didn't say Warriors. I said Knicks and Lakers.
The Warriors were the Warriors an option?
No, they weren't.
I don't think anyone mentioned the Warriors as an option. No, but I believe Michael only said the Knicks and the Lakers.
I say he's either going to the Knicks or the Lakers. And I'm a Laker fan. I think it's a good move for them because Drummond is still in his prime of his career. At first, I was like, you know what? We got Marcus Gasol already. That is an all-around big man. He can shoot, he can dribble, he can post up, he can play defense, but he's a little slow now. But Andre Drummond, who I think is is a walking double-double. I was looking at his stats this year. This year, he averaged 18 and 10 when he's still with the Cavs for the first 21 games. Yo,
He's actually what again?
He had 18 and 10 this season, 16 and 10. But every year in his career,
Those are great numbers.
He averaged 22 he averaged 16 and 14 for rebounds, 14 rebounds and 16 points for the last 10 years. The last 8 years he's been in the league.
He puts up big numbers every year.
He puts up big numbers every year. 2-time All-Star. I think this is a good fit for them because Anthony Davis, who I think is probably the best defensive player in the league right now since he's been in LA.
I can agree with that.
You have an elite rim protector in Andre Drummond.
Relax.
And now Anthony Davis can rely on.
Relax when we're throwing out the word elite, but continue your point.
Anthony Davis is an elite defender.
I thought you were talking about Drummond. I apologize.
Right.
Yeah,
you have an elite defender.
Anthony Davis is the elite rim protector. Andre Drummond, not so much.
He's
a really good rim protector. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't say he's elite. Protector.
Andre Drummond, in my opinion, should have been a defensive player in the mid 2014 era. In the mid 2000s, 2010s. He should have been a defensive player of the year award. He was leading the league in blocks and rebounds. 2 of the 3 major defensive categories. He should have been. But here's the thing, Drummond is going to be a great fit for LeBron because LeBron likes playing with a great big man. You got AD. And Drummond, that's known for pick and pops, for pick and rolls, playing defense, and he likes to lob. I'm telling you, LeBron has a center he can rely on. Because then here's what you got to do as for the Lakers. You got to put 1, 2, and 3 together. You got to play them together. Because just like the Nets, you have to play together, have the chemistry. Like how KD and Kyrie have a chemistry, like Harden and Kyrie and Harden and Durant have a chemistry. Now you have Blake Griffin. You got to add him with them 4. Like how you going to add LaMarcus Aldridge to them 5. But now you got to add up who you going to put it with. Your 5 is going to be obviously Drummond, focus on the bench, AD, LeBron, KCP, and Schroeder. I'm telling you, that's going to be an impressive starting 5. And now you have LeBron has another All-Star. Now he's in a big 3 now. Actually, a big 4 if you can count KCP, who I think is becoming great and great every year. And I think, in my opinion, Drummond is like a top 10 center, easily.
Right
top
now?
10. Top 10.
No chance.
I think he's a top 10 center. You can call me crazy.
I don't think he's a top 10 center right now.
Crazy. I don't think
he's not a top 10 center right now.
He's in the top 10 or top 15 centers.
No.
In the league?
Top 15 maybe.
I absolutely don't agree.
I mean top 15, even top 15 is stretching a little, yeah.
Okay, name top 10 centers.
Chris,
give me a second. So you got Jokic, Embiid, Towns, Gobert, Bam Adebayo, Nurkic, Vucevic, Ayton, Valanciunas, Porzingis. I'd probably say the center now. I would still take Al Horford over him.
What?
Steven Adams, Miles Turner.
What?
Jared Allen,
Capella, Jared Allen.
That's on the boat.
I would take Mitchell Robinson over him, and
even though I'm a Knicks fan,
Christian.
I don't know about Mitchell Robinson. I don't know about Mitchell Robinson though.
Well, I think Andre Drummond has zero value across the NBA. When he got traded from Detroit, he got traded for nothing, absolutely nothing, and people were just shocked by that. But he is just like his game just doesn't really fit in today's NBA that much. Like he puts up big numbers, but he does not impact the game that much anymore. And I just don't think I don't think any of these, but every year people overrate the buyout moves. I don't think Aldridge and Griffin do much for Brooklyn, but they're still the favorites because they got those Kyrie, KD, and Harden, and they still have good pieces around those guys. So Aldridge and Griffin will help, and Drummond will help the Lakers, but I don't think any of these buyout moves really change things. In my
Chris,
opinion.
I could not agree with you more.
I'm saying that
it's fun to talk about.
I do. I mean, they're still fun to talk about, and I do like the Nets bringing Griffin in,
Oh, they're definitely all
but I'm not gonna,
good.
but I'm not gonna
trying
act
to say
like,
that.
but I'm not gonna act like, oh, the Nets got like all stars or anything. But they got some really nice like pieces, which, like I said before, like with that's what the Nets are doing right now. They're surrounding KD, Kyrie, and Harden with a lot of rotational pieces.
I agree. With
But anyway, before we get to Mike's hot take, I wanted to ask you, Michael, one quick question. Getting back to the Andre Drummond side, is that do you think like how do you think the Lakers rotation like and starting lineup will work with the addition of Andre Drummond? Do you think like they should have like Andre Drummond as more of a backup center and put AD at the 5, or do you think they should have a front court of like LeBron, AD, and Drummond?
I think it could go well or great because AD is naturally a 5 when he first came into the league. When he was in college, he played the 5. When he first came in the league for his first 5 years, he played the 5, and then when he went to when it got Cousins to the Pelicans, he became a 4. But he can play the 5 or a 4, depends on what team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He prefers playing the 4 though. He's been outspoken about that.
If you want to go, he honestly, when the Lakers won the chip last year, he played the 4. He played the 4, which is a good position for him because he's like a point forward, just like LeBron for the Lakers. He's a point forward. But honestly, that's great now. So on defense, AD has a guy he can rely on. Just like when they had who JaVale McGee is probably the most athletic guy in the league. I think sort of most athletic. Early JaVale McGee. Look up JaVale McGee's highlights, boys, from his early career. Not talking about Shaq and the Fool highlights. I'm talking about actual highlights. He's an athletic one, I swear. But AD has another superstar he can rely on, like he had with DeMarcus Cousins. Like he can rely on LeBron. He has a great defender that he can help. Not an elite defender, Chris. A great defender. Key word for you, Chris. Great defender.
I don't think he's great.
Okay, well, that different strokes for different folks. Enough said. But I'm just saying the Lakers have a good fit. They should start him at the 5. Put AD at the 4. But however, if they want to put Marcus Gasol back at the 5 and start him, and they put Drummond at the bench, it doesn't really matter. So they had to play together, and I swear. Or they can go big. They could put AD at the 3, put Gasol at the 4, and put Drummond at the 5, put LeBron at the 2, and then put Schroeder at the 1. And they can go big like that. And they can win a bunch of games. But who knows what they could do with it.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely got a lot more to talk about with the Nets and Lakers, but we're starting to run low on time for a second, so we gotta get right now to Mike's hot take. Michael, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, what would be my hot take? I just want to say, I was thinking about it the other day. Why I think Skip Bayless is the worst sports reporter on the planet Earth. This is my hot take.
Michael, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. I just want to say by saying, with that sentence alone, this is automatically the best hot take you've ever had.
It's supposed to be a hot take, though, and I feel like this isn't going to be a hot take.
This is a hot take. This is my hot take.
Chris, I'll allow it. Go, Michael.
Skip Bayless is the worst. First of all, a few years ago, when LeBron was playing for Cleveland, he said he was the best player in the world. Even though LeBron was a 2-time MVP by then, still killing the league at 25 years of age. And let's see. And then he said Joel Embiid was the best player in the world. Yeah, okay. That really makes sense. Stupid Skip Bayless. At least, even how you gonna know about basketball and you played your varsity year and only scored 2 points? 2 points a game. My grandma, God rest her soul, can score more than that. Like, damn, you don't know basketball. You should stop trying. You get owned by every guest that comes on your show. Like, you got owned by the guy that owns the Maverick, my main man, Money Mark. You got owned by T.I. You got owned by Kevin Hart. You got owned by Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith, Jalen Williams, Jalen Rose. The list is etc. You are probably the worst sports announcer in history. You should basically shove a...
Don't say it.
You are just the worst person in sports history. You should never be able to talk about sports. You should have a license to talk about sports. You make basketball look ignorant because of you, Skip Bayless. You should never talk about sports ever in your life. Even though you said Kobe Bryant, who has my favorite player, is better than LeBron, we already know this already. God rest Kobe. But Skip Bayless, thanks for ruining the game of basketball for me all these years. You were in basketball for me, my friends, and everybody on this damn podcast. So, pop quiz, show of hands, to the voices. Who thinks Skip Bayless is a great announcer or a great sports play-by-play? Alex?
If any of you raise, just so you know, if any of you raise your hands right now,
You will be
you're
fired.
automatically kicked off the podcast. If any of you raise your hands right now, you're automatically kicked off the podcast.
Chris, do you like Skip Bayless as a sportscaster?
I mean, I'm never gonna hate on a guy as much as you just did there, but I don't go to him when I need some good basketball insight.
Okay, that's one. David, do you like Skip Bayless?
Well, I know he used to play for basketball and Sixers.
He never played basketball. He was just he only played in high school, and he was that garbage.
I would say that I don't pay attention to media from him or anything, or from
It's a smart decision.
Smart man, David. You're a very smart man.
I'd rather just have look what my team been up to, like the Sixers or Warriors, my second team.
Gonna have to kill you, Alex. How about you? What do you think about Skip
Skip
Bayless?
I would put Stephen A. Smith over him any day.
Thank you.
Thank
I love
Thank you.
A lot of us have old people on this,
All
only
right.
fans on this podcast.
All right, I
We don't
gotta
like
say
Skip
something.
Bayless.
Like,
We don't like Skip Bayless.
here's all I'm gonna say about Skip Bayless. The guy is the definition of like a talentless hack, and I just want to put a positive spin on everyone. For all those like myself, and I'm sure most people on this podcast who are looking to get into sports media, just know that if someone like Skip Bayless can like land like a job and make millions of dollars doing this, then you know what? We could definitely land a job in this industry. That's like, here's the thing. Like here's the moment. Like, here's the moment that I knew when Skip Bayless like lost all his credibility and in my opinion should have been at least suspended or fired. The moment where like, remember when Dak like came out about his depression ever since his brother, and Skip Bayless like responded to that by saying like, oh, like I don't have sympathies, and he's the quarterback of America's team, he needs to be tough. Like, do you even have a heart, Skip? Like, that's the first thing that you're thinking of when like a man who's like going through a word I cannot even say on the air or while recording, whatever you want to call it. Like, he's going through that, and the first thing that comes to your mind is that, oh, like, how is it going to affect me, and how is it going to affect my Dallas Cowboys? That's the first thing that comes. That's the first thing that comes to your mind. Like, that is the definition of human trash. And even afterward, he even apologized afterward. And Fox like, and I think FS1 and Fox should be ashamed of themselves that they A, keep this guy employed, and B, didn't even suspend him or like didn't even punish him get even a decent punishment at all after he did that.
Skip Bayless.
Bayless, you are human trash.
Skip Bayless, on Get Your Game On podcast, you are the turkey of the week. Congratulations. You're now the turkey of the week. Now, this is Mike's hot take. So, Skip Bayless, if you're listening to this hot
Michael,
take,
you're getting Michael, I'm telling you, one day you're gonna get kicked off of Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
I was just saying, Skip Bayless, if you're watching this, you can suck it. Thank you. Sorry, viewers. Sorry about my
all right. Thank you, Michael, for that beautiful hot take. Like, you just gave there. I agree. I think it was the best one yet, honestly. I honestly think it was the best one yet. So now we're gonna move on to March Madness and the Elite Eight. Like, the Week 16 just wrapped up. The Elite Eight is here. We'll go over the matches quickly, but Chris, you're our resident college basketball expert on the podcast, and I want to ask you very quickly about because we talked about it last episode and you didn't get a chance to talk about it, so I want to talk about it with you right now. The run that Rutgers went on like in the tournament, like they had a big win over Clemson. I watched that game. I that was one of my picks. I was so excited when they won that game. I thought that was a brilliant game, and then they had a heartbreaking loss like to Houston. And here's what I'm going to say about that. I'm going to give you a floor, Chris, really quickly. Like, it's not the fact that Rutgers lost to Houston that I'm like still salty about, because they were probably going to lose the game anyway. It's how they lost. They had like what was it, an 8-point lead like with 5 minutes left, and tough. Their coach, like Steve, who I have a lot of respect for the way he's turned his program around. I called him out because you saw like towards the end of the game, like Rutgers, they completely changed the offense. They started focusing on like trying to run down a clock instead of like scoring more points. They thought they played like they had like a big lead when they didn't really have like that big a lead. They completely changed the offense. They completely ruined the floor of the offense. I think that's ultimately cost them the game. Chris, what do you think?
I definitely agree with that point you made. That's something a lot of teams do especially when you're the lowest seed. You can't play like that because you're playing against a team that's better than you for the most part, and you just have
at least more talented. At least
more talented, yeah. You have to keep doing what's working for you, and they should have just kept playing their game, and they didn't, and it cost them. And I mean, they battled. But I was very impressed with how they performed in those two games. So it didn't. I mean, they had a chance to win the game. They didn't, but it was still a really, really good performance.
I don't want my man Chris.
I still think like the future is very bright for Rutgers.
Oh, definitely.
Michael, you wanted to say something?
To add on my man what CK just said. Honestly, Rutgers should keep their head up high. They have nothing. They did far what I suspect them of doing. And first of all, Rutgers, don't get me wrong, they played great, but Houston is a top 2 team for a reason. You know what I mean? Houston, they got the hot train. Honestly, my prediction, still gonna be Gonzaga, but my shout out to my boy JQ at the University of Alabama. Alabama, man, they've been holding by a thread.
Oh man.
And Chris, you were talking about this 2 nights ago on Friday. You said the only team that can beat Gonzaga is Alabama. That's what me and Chris said. Could beat is Gonzaga. It's probably Alabama. Right or wrong, CK?
What problem with that?
I still think Baylor is a small chance, but we both agreed that it was definitely Bama had the best shot.
Bama, we both agree that anyone that has a chance besides Baylor is Bama to beat Gonzaga.
Yeah. Only problem though, Bama's gone. They got eliminated by UCLA.
I know, but we know. I'm just saying. Shout out to Alabama for being the best, being a good football team and a good basketball team, which is pretty rare to do.
That's very hard to do. It's you rarely ever see that.
Even though I can't believe I'm going to say this, and I never said this in my month. Roll Tide. Ooh, I feel so dirty. I just said it. I did take a shower now. I feel dirty.
Okay. So, like, since we're talking March Madness, Chris, like, we're recapping like the Sweet 16. You know, a lot of interesting games as you mentioned before, like UCLA, big win over Alabama. Syracuse, like Houston, fought Syracuse, Arkansas for 4 hours. Chris, I'm gonna give you the floor, man. Just take us through like the Sweet 16.
All right, so I want to talk about a couple games from Saturday. We kind of talked about the Syracuse. You mentioned a Houston team. They were really good defensively, and Syracuse just really couldn't hang in that game, basically. And then the Baylor-Villanova game, Villanova was really impressive in that one, I thought, like battling, but they just didn't have enough. But getting to the Sweet 16 was still a good run for them. But the two games for Saturday that really stood out to me was Oregon State and Loyola Chicago and Oral Roberts, Arkansas. Loyola I saw a stat based off this, a shot quality is something. I've seen a Twitter account for that, and they kind of break down like the looks that both teams get in a game. And the stats said based off the shots that Oregon State and Loyola Chicago got, Loyola should have won that game by 17, but they lost by 7. That's something in March. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you can't hit shots, you go home. And That's how we've seen a lot of teams do it. But then I want to give a shout out to Oral Roberts for the run they went on. I watched them.
Unbelievable.
I watched them in the conference tournament against, I think it was North Coast State in the title game. They had a few really close ones in the Summer League conference tournament. And I was watching with a couple of friends, and we were talking about it. And we said, we don't care who they play. They're going to win an NCAA tournament game. And they did it, but they won 2, and they almost won 3. It was just a sensational run. Max Asmus and Kevin O'Banner, they through the first 3 rounds, they have been the best duo in the NCAA tournament, without a question. They were absolutely dominant, and it's just fun to see a small conference team like that play the way they did. I loved it. It's why I love March Madness. I wish he would hit that shot. I wish he would hit it. That 3 to beat Arkansas, but Baylor Arkansas is going to be a fantastic game, so it'll all work out. But that was just a tough one. And
yeah,
then,
it was definitely. I watched part of the Baylor Villanova game because I did pick that game and I did win my bet. So we'll get to that towards our bets of the episode, but yeah, I mean Villanova, like again, like they're not the Villanova Wildcats they used to be, but I still think like it was still impressive enough to keep that game like close, like the way it was, because it was a close game for like most of the game until Villanova started to pull away towards the end. But towards the end, Villanova, they had a couple of chances, but they just couldn't get like that one big shot to get in the game. And then they eventually had to start battling Baylor, and Baylor just kept on making all their free throws to really like pull away. David, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah. So me and Alex we're both Villanova fans, and I want to say that they had a heck of a run, and I hope they get it next year.
Yeah,
but I
always
won't
next year.
I won't give a shout out to Alex's friend Biggie Eric Dixon. He had a heck of a game, and Connor Gillespie should get a shout out too. I miss him, but I hope he gets better.
Yeah, definitely.
Can I chime in?
Go ahead, Alex.
So besides Big E, the player that really stood out to me this year was Jermaine Robertson-Orr. He played unreal every game, and he was a big spotlight to the Nova offense, which really light up Jay Wright's team, and I think they wouldn't have gotten to where they were before they got knocked out of the Sweet 16 without him, even if Kyle Gillespie was in the lineup. But it's just so awesome to see how well he can play on the world's biggest stage.
I was definitely very impressed with him. Yeah. A lot of people thought he was going to go to NBA draft after last season, but he decided to come back, and he improved his game a lot during his sophomore season for Nova, and it paid off big time for the team.
Yeah, and also as well as Justin Moore.
He was really good too. Jay Wright always gets his guys to step up. I feel like whenever they need guys, they step up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're gonna preview the Elite Eight really quickly. A lot of really good matchups. Oregon State, like 12 seed against Houston. Arkansas 3 seed against Baylor. That's gonna be a good one. USC against Gonzaga, and UCLA against Michigan. Like, Chris, I think those are some really interesting matchups.
We have some really good games. One thing to look forward to is USC's length. They played great this NCAA tournament. USC has been fantastic. Can they give Gonzaga a real test? I'm not sure, but a lot of people think that they can. And a big reason why is the Mobley brothers, the length that they have can be really disruptive defensively. And they shot the ball really well these past couple of games. And if they can shoot the ball like they did against Kansas, that will give them a chance against anybody in the country. And they're going to have to hit a lot of shots, a lot of tough shots against Gonzaga. But if they can play like they have, they absolutely will be competitive against Gonzaga. And
you think they have a chance to pull off the upset?
They have a chance. The Mobley
Ooh.
brothers are fantastic. Evan Mobley he's insane. He's one of the best college big man prospects I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, definitely. So, anyone else have anything to say about the Elite Eight?
Nope.
Can I say
I don't know about
something?
me.
Go,
Can
go,
I say
David.
something? End of the topic.
No, keep that on the Elite Eight, but go ahead.
So, like I want to say something about Nova real quick. Like,
all
shut up.
all right, but make it quick.
I will always be a forever, lifelong Villanova fan ever since they won a national championship.
All right, awesome, David. So we're running low on time here, so it's time to get to, you guessed that, everyone's saying segment of the show, our bets of the episode. So we're gonna recap last episode's bets.
Just remembered
and
I
Alex-
got screwed. I got screwed.
You did not.
No, Michael. Here's what happened. You tried to break the rules, and you still lost. For those of you who don't know, Michael is upset because he said, like, because here's the thing: we have a rule for our bets that if you're gonna bet the spread, you have to bet the official spread. So Michael kept to say, "Oh, I'm betting this by 4 or more or something." So he bet so we're gonna play with Mike's bet. Michael said he bet the Jazz over the Grizzlies by 4 or more when the spread is actually minus 11. So since we go by the spread, I marked it out as minus 11. Michael didn't like that. Guess what? Either way, Michael would have lost his bet. So Michael, take this big fat L.
Go F yourself.
Michael, you are now 3-3. Live with it.
Go F yourself.
All right, Chris. Chris also took an L last week. He had last episode. He had Syracuse over Houston on the money line, and in Houston, obviously took care of Syracuse fairly easily. So Chris, you took an L. You're now 3-3. Everyone else got W's though. David, he won the head-to-head matchup against Chris. He had Houston over Syracuse on the spread minus 6.5. Houston not only won, they covered the 6.5. So guess what, guys? David is now 4-2. He's now in the lead.
Sir.
Congratulations, Dave. And both me and Alex are on hot streaks. Both me and Alex, we both started 0-3, and we've won our last 3 straight bets. Alex had I'm sorry. He had the Jets over the Flames on the money line. And the Jets won over the Flames. So Alex got a W, and I had Baylor over Villanova on the spread minus 7.5. Baylor covered the 7.5. I won that bet as well. So I'm gonna go first. Since I always introduce these segments, I'm gonna go first, and I'm looking right now. I'm looking straight back at March Madness, and guess what, guys? I'm looking straight back at Baylor. Baylor is right now going up against Arkansas, but you guys probably think right now, oh my God, he's gonna bet Baylor. He's gonna bet Baylor to win again. He's gonna bet Baylor to cover again. Not so fast there, my friends. I'm looking at the over-under right now, and the over-under right now is at 148.5. And guys, over Baylor's 3 games right now in the tournament, they're all 3 games they played so far in the tournament, they have scored under 148 points all 3 games. The total score for both teams combined, it was under 148 for all 3 of Baylor's games. Look at Arkansas. It was over in their 3 games. It was under 148 points for 2 of their 3 games. You look at Baylor, the way they play defense. Again, we always call them the best defense in the country with how great their defense is. And you go at past history, I'm gonna take the under on the Arkansas Baylor game. I'm gonna take the under 148.5. That's my bet of the episode.
Adam, I was about to bet on that game. I was going to choose Baylor.
All right. So you want to go next, David? I mean, you're the champion, so you may as well go next.
You're the champ.
Yeah, he's going to lose.
He's the champ.
The defending champion. The reigning defending champion. Go ahead, David.
I'm going for NBA. I'm going for Nets beating Timberwolves.
Oh, so you're taking the Nets on the spread, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I'll make sure to mark that down. That's our spread. They're getting. I believe Kyrie is coming back for that game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have him on fantasy. He was on a 3 road trip. I think he was out. He was out before, but it'd be good to see him play.
Awesome. Alex, are we getting another hockey pick?
Actually, I'm changing it up.
Oh, okay. I just gotta say something really quick about hockey. Today, well, yesterday, well, technically yesterday, because like all our viewers are listening to this podcast on Friday, but yesterday the Devils played a big game against the Boston Bruins. Did you guys see the ending of that game? It was nuts. The Boston Bruins had not one but 2 goals overturned. One was due to goalie interference, and number 2, like usually it's probably gonna be on SportsCenter top 10. Devils goaltender Mackenzie Blackwood, who's been a stud all season, made like this amazing like legs like pad save where he like stuck his leg out to the end of like the goal post and just barely like kept the puck out. They had to review it and they ruled that the puck did not officially cross the line. So Devils won 1-0. Mackenzie Blackwood got a shutout. He's been an absolute stud this season.
Okay.
All right. So,
Alex,
I'm sorry, Alex. Go ahead. I just had to get that off my chest. I'm sorry.
Okay. I am gonna pick the Utah Jazz money line.
Ooh.
Wow.
Michael's ran his Jazz for a while, so you know what? Alex is up on the Jazz train. Do you know what the money line is?
I'm not sure.
Who are they playing?
Cleveland.
That's an easy dub.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chris. I mean, Alex. We can't. If the money line is like that, if the money line is like that high, then we can't do it.
He's doing the team. Let him do it, Adam. Don't do that.
Yeah,
I can change
the
it.
money line is minus 180. Like, so if you want to bet that game, you have to take the Jazz on the spread.
Actually, my second one would be Kawhi Leonard over 18 points.
Kawhi Leonard over 18 points?
Yeah.
Grab that right now. Grab that right now. I'm making that your bet for you, all right? All right,
Yep.
So if the over-under is really Kawhi Leonard on 15, if that's really the over-under for Kawhi Leonard, then I think that bet is just like you're basically like handing out money at that point. So
I said over 18.
All right.
You said over.
Yeah.
So I'll split down Kawhi Leonard over. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So you're doing two bets, Alex?
No, he's
No.
doing one bet. His bet is
one.
He's taking the over on Kawhi Leonard.
Well, if he scores, if
the Clippers it's the Clippers against the Bucks. So all right. Chris, you want to go next?
Yeah, I can go next. So I'm going with college basketball, and now that I look through these 4 games,
big surprise.
I gotta go with March Madness. Well, we still got it for these picks, and I was really struggling which game to pick because I don't want to go as one of the easy picks, and I'm gonna go with Oregon State, in the Houston matchup. I'm going back to the Cougars. And once again, I'm going to pick against them. I think Oregon State has played really well. I've never been one to play it safe, so I'm going to go Oregon State on the money line.
Oh my God, Chris
risk, but I personally,
Chris, I just want to say though, you know what the definition of insanity is, right?
It's not
trying the same thing over and over again and expecting
Oregon State has played
multiple so you're gonna bet against
Houston
again on the
I'm going
line.
against Houston.
All right.
Oregon State has been the better team in the NCAA tournament. And I think they will prove it tomorrow night.
Rolling the dice.
Oregon State beat a better team than Houston last round. I fully believe that, and they will do it again to get to the Final Four.
All right.
Houston's doing it because I picked Houston against Syracuse. That's why he's picking them.
I was hoping you'd pick Houston again, David.
Oh man. All right, so last but not least, don't try to cheat again this time, Michael. I'll be watching you. So Michael, you always brings the spicy picks last, so Michael, take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, boys. Last week I picked the Jazz. I'm 3-3.
Yeah.
David, it's 4-3.
We're all 3-3 except for David.
We're all 3-3, boys.
Yes,
We're all 3-3. I could bet against the Celtics versus Pelicans, Heat versus Knicks, Timberwolves Nets. I'm gonna go with today Nets versus Timberwolves. I'm going to probably. Here's the thing. My second favorite player of all time is Kevin Durant. My favorite 5 NBA players are Kobe, AI, Michael Jordan, Marcus Camby, and Kevin Durant.
LeBron's not on that list?
LeBron, I don't like LeBron, but I'm a Kevin Durant fan. I'm going with the Nets. Of Kevin Durant. Is KD even playing? He's still hurt?
No, he's not playing. He's not playing.
So I'm not going to bet on the Nets then. Okay. I'm going to go with the Jazz. Nope, bro. No. I'm gonna go with the Suns. I'm gonna go with the Suns over the Hawks, but I'm gonna go with screw it. I'll go with the Suns because it's always hot in Phoenix, there, boys. And we're going with the Suns, and I'm going with Chris Paul. Give me at least 10 assists in that game.
All right, so picking the Suns and keep picking Chris Paul to get at least 10 assists.
That's easy for him. He gets 10 assists on the daily.
All right, so you always just mark it down Chris Paul like over 10 assists?
Literally 10 assists.
All right.
10 assists or more.
All right, so I'll also mark it down as Chris Paul.
Wait, hold up.
More.
8 assists. 8 assists or more.
I'll just do Chris Paul over on the assists, all right? Deal?
Over. Deal.
All right. So Michael's taking Chris Paul over on the assists. All right, so that's it for our best this week and this episode, and that's it for the episode. Really fun episode. I got to get my feelings about my Nets. Obviously, Chris, it was nice also having you back to talk some March Madness with you. We're definitely gonna talk more when we do whenever we do our next March Madness episode. So, Chris, it was really awesome.
Really fun talking about it. Good
yeah.
show,
All right. So, any final thoughts?
Nope. That's Skip Bayless, the worst announcer of all time in sports history.
All right.
Love this podcast.
All right. That's it. This has been episode 7 of the Get Your Game On podcast with yours truly, Adam Grassani, Michael Cunningham, Alex Reich, David Heller, and Chris Kern. If you like what you heard, leave a like and follow or subscribe to the podcast. Also, if you want to join the conversation, drop a comment or review, and we may feature it in a future episode. Remember, my friends, don't assume a dreams are just fantasy. If you can match your world, believe in it and dive in. See you next time, and until then, stay lit.